What if the most dangerous person in a wealthy man's mansion is not an enemy from outside, but the woman sleeping beside him? Behind the glitter of luxury, power, and privilege hides a house filled with lust, betrayal, and deadly secrets. When a poor young man named Simuka is brought into the world of the rich and ruthless Will and his beautiful wife Ramona, he thinks he has found a chance to change his life forever. But the deeper he is pulled into their twisted world, the more he realizes that desire can be more terrifying than violence, and trust can be far deadlier than hate. What begins as a simple job soon turns into a storm of forbidden attraction, jealousy, humiliation, and revenge. In this story, love is dangerous, loyalty is fragile, and every choice comes with a price. And once the truth starts coming out, there is no way anyone escapes unchanged or alive. The story begins with a rich man named Will, who lives in a luxurious house with his wife, Ramona. Will is wealthy, so he keeps police officers for his security. On this day, police officer James arrives at Will's estate with two companions, and it brings along a young man named Simuka. During the journey, Simuka feels uncomfortable because the woman sitting beside him behaves inappropriately, and out of fear, he is unable either to stop her or to react properly. James's other companion watches as the awkward situation continues, and soon they all reach Will's house. And in truth, James has brought Simuka at Will's request because Will needs a servant. Since Will is pleased with James's service, he plans to reward him and therefore calls his wife, Ramona, to join them. Ramona is young and beautiful, and she immediately captures Simuka's attention. Will is in a cheerful mood that day because some guests have also arrived at the house. He gives James his reward money and invites him to return later for the evening party. And as soon as night falls, the party begins at Will's mansion. Everyone drinks heavily, and the atmosphere quickly becomes wild. Will's friends openly cling to their lovers in front of everyone, cafe, and seeing them makes Will want to show off Ramona as well. The two of them go inside the house and begin chasing each other from room to room. At first, Will enjoys it, but when he gets hurt slightly, he becomes angry and starts insulting Ramona. Seeing his temper, she first apologizes and then soothes him with sweet words until he calms down. As Will becomes intimate with Ramona, Simuka hears the noise and comes closer. Ramona quickly tries to cover herself while Will gets furious at Simuka for interrupting them. And to diffuse the tension, Ramona suggests that they continue inside their room, where they can be alone. Will likes the idea, so he takes her into the room, and the two become passionately involved. Ramona's cries echo through the house, leaving Simuka confused and unsettled. At that moment, the maid, Sophia, notices his discomfort and tells him not to pay attention because this kind of scene is normal in the house. She advises him to focus on his work, earn money, and improve his life. Meanwhile, after everything is over, Will falls asleep while Ramona comes downstairs and tells Sophia to clean his clothes. As Ramona is leaving, she and Simuka exchange a long glance. Their eyes say more than words, but neither of them speaks. The next morning, Simuka is cleaning while Will and Ramona relax in the sun. Sophia brings juice for Will, and when Will notices her body, desire awakens in him. On his way to bathe, he slips her some money, making his intentions obvious. Sophia understands immediately and later goes into the bathroom to satisfy him, while Ramona remains outside sunbathing. A little later, Will leaves for work, and once he is gone, Ramona begins drinking in peace. While sitting there, she notices Simuka enjoying himself in the pool. Carrying her drink, she walks over to him. Simuka becomes nervous when he sees his mistress approaching. Ramona tells him to sit beside her, but he hesitates because he is not fully dressed. Noticing his shyness, she tells him to relax, and soon the two begin talking. The next morning, Will returns home and speaks with Ramona before turning his attention to Simuka. When Will asks about his family, Simuka explains that he never knew his father and that his mother died only a few months ago. He says he wants to study and build a better future. Hearing this, Will promises that if Simuka works honestly and faithfully, he will pay for his education. It is the first time Simuka has seen such generosity from him. After a boating trip, Will becomes exhausted, so Simuka massages his legs while Ramona sits nearby. Once again, the eyes of Ramona and Simuka meet, and silent feelings pass between them. That evening, Ramona goes to the market with James and buys clothes for Will. She also buys some things for Simuka. When Simuka sees them, he realizes it is because it is his birthday. Ramona has arranged the gifts for him, and he is touched by her kindness. The next morning, Ramona sits with Sophia, drinking coffee, while Simuka remains nearby. Through gestures, Ramona asks whether he liked the gifts. By now, because Ramona has begun taking care of him, Simuka has started feeling drawn to her as well. One day, Ramona wakes from sleep after having a vivid dream about Simuka. In the dream, his presence stirs emotions inside her, and she imagines an intimate moment with him. But just as she begins to enjoy it, his face suddenly transforms into Will's. Ramona screams and wakes up, realizing it was only a dream. When she comes downstairs, she sees Will behaving intimately with Sophia at the dining table. The sight leaves Ramona hurt, and she goes to sit by the lake. Seeing her sadness, Simuka approaches and gently gives her a handkerchief embroidered with her name. That simple gesture makes Ramona smile. Later, Will asks Ramona to please him, but she refuses. Furious, he pushes her away. Soon afterward, Sophia tells Simuka that Will has called him to his room. When Simuka enters, he sees a gun in Will's hand and realizes that Will is drunk. Will accuses him, asking whether he goes near Ramona whenever he leaves the house. Simuka says nothing, but he understands that Will is trying to humiliate both him and Ramona. So he stands silently with his head lowered. After insulting him, Will goes to Ramona and forces himself on her because he believes she embarrassed him in front of others by refusing him earlier. He wants to teach her a lesson. Later, as Simuka is leaving, Will gives him some money, pleased by his obedience. That evening, when Simuka is wandering outside, Ramona comes to him and begins flirting with him openly. Soon, the two become intimate. For Simuka, it is his first experience of tenderness and desire. After that, whenever Will leaves the house, Ramona and Simuka secretly meet. Sophia also discovers their affair, but for Ramona's happiness, she remains silent. One day, while they are together, Ramona asks Simuka to run away with her and begin a new life. But Simuka warns her that if they flee, Will find them and kill them both. Even so, their bond only grows stronger. Then one day, Will returns home early from work. Sophia notices him first and quickly warns the lovers. Ramona rushes into the bathroom, while Simuka escapes through the window. When Will enters the room searching for Ramona, Sophia tells him that she is bathing. Will accepts the explanation and goes to join her. Later, Sophia speaks privately with Simuka and reveals that her daughter has a deadly illness. She says she needs a great deal of money for treatment, and that is why she continues working in such an environment. A few days later, Will throws another party. Once again, the atmosphere becomes wild, and his friends begin touching each other's lovers in front of everyone. Inspired by the chaos, Will tells James to take Ramona for himself. This time, Ramona's anger finally explodes, and she slaps Will across the face in front of everyone. Humiliated, Will begins beating her. Seeing Ramona injured, Simuka rushes forward and attacks Will in anger. Will fights back and then orders James to kill Simuka. James and his men drag Simuka away. Simuka begs for mercy, and James, seeming to take pity on him, lets him go with a warning to leave forever. But this apparent kindness hides a deeper plan. Because of everything that has happened, Will no longer trusts anyone. He fires Sophia from her job. Later, Sophia gives Simuka a parcel containing money and the key to her house. That night, Simuka returns carrying a knife. At the same time, Will is inside with Ramona. As soon as Simuka appears, Will notices him and starts beating him savagely. Before Will can kill him, Ramona grabs the knife and stabs Will several times, killing him on the spot. Then she and Samuka wrap Will's body in a sheet, take all the money from the house, and flee by boat. After throwing the body into the river, they reach the shore the next morning, where police officer James is waiting for them. Seeing James, Samuka is shocked. To his surprise, Ramona leaves his side and walks over to James. The truth is then revealed. The entire plan had been arranged by Ramona and James together. They wanted Will dead so they could seize his property. Even James's earlier decision to spare Samuka had been part of their scheme. After confessing everything, James mocks poor Samuka. But before he can celebrate, Ramona kills James too. In the end, all of Will's property is transferred into Ramona's name. Sophia later returns, and with that, the story comes to an end.